Hopefully this works. Because it just failed on me. Let's see. Well, there's a notification. Yep. Okay, great. Hello and welcome to the first broadcasted Tier 4 race in a little while. Apologies for that. We haven't been able to find a full-time commentator to kind of take the reins, but you've got me tonight. My name is Ross Thorne. I was racing in Tier 3 until recently. Hello, Saeed. You all right? Let's have a look. Where are you in the standings now, Saeed? I haven't really been keeping track. Let's have a look. It won't load. P3. Well, when this loads, I'll have a proper look. Let's see. Looks like we've got 16 drivers tonight. It is 8 o'clock exactly, so I'm not expecting too many more people. So, standings. One interesting thing, so we've had 6 races, which means we've had exactly half of the season so far. And so far we've had 6 different winners. So it is all to play for. We have Hallinan, who very nearly won the Tier 5 championship last season, in the lead with a 20-point gap ahead of Chris T. Chris T actually doesn't have a win to his name. He's got 3rd place, 3 4th places, and a 6th place to show how he's being consistent. But he really needs to get a win if he's going to start properly challenging, I think. Saeed has the 1 win from the opening round, and apart from that has failed to get a podium, which means he's sitting in 3rd. 4th place is Will, who's just been consistent every race, and despite 1 podium only, is still in 4th with 45 points. So that's 34 points away from Hallinan. And then it gets a bit more patchy. So we've got people who've missed races, people who've had a lot of DNFs. Wicked's in 5th with 1 win. Shkoen's in 6th with 2 podiums but no wins. Duduman's in 7th with 1 podium but no wins. Nova's in 8th with 1 podium and 1 win, but then 3... that's basically where all of his points have come from. Zab won last time out in Mexico, and Roller won the 3rd race of the season in Australia. So it is still quite a tight title race, even though Hallinan's got a 20-point lead, because no one is really running away with it. Even Hallinan himself, his last 3 races, he's got a 7th, a 4th, and an 11th. So that's not the best kind of form coming into Spa. So yeah, it is wide open, and Hallinan really will want to start the second half of the season. The last race before we head off to our little Christmas break with the podium to kind of cement his lead. Let me just double check I'm in spectator. I am indeed. So who have we got today? So yeah, we do have Hallinan. We do have, I think we've got all the major players today. Let's see at the availability. Oh, Nova isn't racing, and Chris T actually isn't racing as well. So that's the 2nd place guy. So I'd expect a few people to overtake Chris, because he's only a few points ahead of Saeed, and he's not really that far ahead of some other drivers. If they can get on the podium, they'll overtake him as well. So that gives Hallinan a little bit of breathing space, which is nice for him. I wonder if he's still doing this season in with all of his assists on. He said he was going to start taking them off, but if I'd finished 1st or 2nd in the first 3 races, I think I'd keep doing what I was doing instead of doing the transitional season this season. All right, let's get YouTube open in case I'm getting some comments. Side, I'm inconsistent. I need to step up for the next few rounds. Well, at least you're not the only one who's inconsistent. It seems like the whole tier is struggling to get consistent results. Basically, just aim for top 5 every single race, and you should be all right. But you've at least got points every round. Pushing today so I can bridge the gap. Well, Spa's one of those tracks on this game where if you push too hard, you're going to start spinning. So high chance of safety car as well. So just keep it sensible, I'd say, and you'll probably end up in the top 4. The same goes for everyone. There's going to be lots of spinning, especially around Puan. Well, actually, there's so many. Eau Rouge on cold tyres after you come out the pits is a real tricky one. Bus stop at the end is really difficult to get right, and you can lose about half a second plus if you get the exit wrong as well, but it's also easy to spin. I'll tell you what, the best thing about this game is the music they've added to it. It fucking slaps, to be honest. I guess that's the one good thing about EA buying the game. They've got the rights to all this good music. So who's going to win today? We've also got Johnny joining Tier 4 in the races that I didn't commentate. So Johnny was in my tier last season, which was Tier 4 as well. He was really good, but he hasn't managed to get a good result yet here. So I don't know what's happened in between last season and this season. He actually started this season in Tier 1 and he's dropped down to this tier. And Tier 1's quite full, but also they are pretty rapid. It was a bit of a leap. I'm not sure any of these guys quite ready for Tier 1, to be honest. So we've got 16 drivers, and it looks like we're going to have a couple joining in qualifying. Maybe not, actually. So it'll be interesting to see what if it rains. So the whole story of my entire career on F1 22 is every single race that I've raced in, it has rained either in qualifying or in the race. And Belgium is one of those tracks where it's highly likely to rain compared to other tracks, just like in real life. So I'd be surprised if we got a completely dry qualifying and a completely dry race, just to add to the potential chaos that we've got coming up. Yeah, here we go. Just like I said, it's raining. So it'll be interesting to see if this lasts for the entire qualifying and if it carries over into the race. Let's gap to the leader. So it looks like Inter's at the moment. But no one's in a rush to come out yet, so... Well, everyone's probably panicking about this setup, because I'm sure most of the grid won't have a wet weather setup, and is one even needed? Is it going to be dry for the race? We'll have to wait and see. As the first driver, 7% chance of rain in the race. Oh, brilliant. So this is going to make qualifying really tricky, though, because everybody is going to be... Let's join Johnny. He's going to be the first person to set a lap. Everybody's going to be setting a lap in inter conditions with a dry setup. So especially going around here, Eau Rouge is going to be really tricky. You're going to have to lift off a lot. as for some reason it's just gone back into the pits. I'm going to keep the tyre graphic on just in case anyone tries to go for something a little bit different. And it keeps... Why does this keep changing? Where's my... Let me get my controller. I was using my steering wheel, but maybe something was resting on my controller making it change. Let's see now. Oh, nearly. And again. So, what he did is not what I would do in the wet, which is he's riding all over the curbs. Because they're just slippery, basically. There's no point in them, as Matt does his standard retirement. And we've got a Mercedes, it looks like that span in sector... Well, just at the beginning of sector 2. Anyway, we've got Johnny approaching the bus stop chicane, and we're going to stay with him for this first lap to see how he gets on. I would expect him to be top 5, definitely. He's absolutely one of the fastest guys in the tier. As we approach turn 1, does he take... Ooh, he gets it a bit wrong there. Now, how much is he going to lift off for Eau Rouge and Radion? Well, he doesn't lose that much. I would have downshifted to 7th gear because he'll have lost a lot of time with the engine revving at such a low speed there. As he obviously sets purple, he goes a little bit wide there because his car got a bit twitchy, but nothing too bad. And I am expecting these drivers to also have quite a few laps of fuel on their cars, because these tyres don't really degrade, and you can just keep going and going and going until you find the perfect lap, essentially. Because you're almost definitely not going to get it right on the first go. Right, this is a really tricky corner to get right, and he's taking it quite gingerly, but his car's still pointing in the right way. Yep, he's avoiding these curbs where he nearly span on the outlap, which is definitely the right call. Takes a little bit of curb there, and on the exit, but he straightens up quite nicely, and he goes really wide and into the gravel, which is probably spelling the end of his competitiveness on this lap. And he goes a little bit on the grass there. Downshift, that's quite a good idea in these conditions, downshifting around that corner where you don't really need to brake. As we go into the bus stop, he takes it in 3rd. He doesn't downshift to 2nd, which is what you usually do, but it helps with the traction on the exit. And he sets a time of a 1:59. And Dove was next up, and he invalidated as we join Wicked, who's also just invalidated. So let's join Roller Ruler. One of the drivers who's got a race win this season, but he's quite a consistent driver, but he's a little bit lower in the standings than I'd expect him to be. So he'll want a good result here as he goes a little bit wide on the entrance to the bus stop. And he does take it in 2nd. And he does go 2.4 seconds quicker than Johnny. And it's pretty decent because I don't think the mistakes that we saw on Johnny is apart. Well, actually, no, he did go in the gravel. As Hallinan now goes 0.2 quicker, and he's the first driver into the 156s. So now we've got Hallinan, Roller Ruler, and Bang Average Seb and Zab are the only drivers who've set a properly competitive time. They're all about half a second of each other. Everyone else who seems to be crossing the finish line now. We've got Schone. He's going to go P5, 2 seconds down, so he's obviously made a mistake. We've got Will. Will goes P5, and what's Saeed going to do? Saeed knocks Will off P5, but he's still 7/10ths down, and he lifts off immediately, so he's not... What's he doing? He needs to... What are you doing? Keep going. Oh, he's just letting the car past. Okay. So he's probably, I don't know if he's on a cooldown lap or he's out of fuel, but what are some of these other drivers who haven't set a lap? Dove looks like he's just set a purple sector, so let's stay with Dove. We saw him at the end of the first lap where he invalidated, so this is his second flying lap. He does brake a little bit for that corner. We saw Johnny didn't brake for that, as Johnny's just going to cross the line ahead of him, so let's see where he jumps up to. He didn't improve, so he must have done a cooldown lap. And Dove goes P5. So what about Slimmy? Let's join Slimmy. Slimmy is... Oh, it's Roller Ruler now sets the fastest time. Goes 10th quicker than Hallinan. Can Hallinan respond? No, he goes in the pits. So let's stick with Slimmy for now. He obviously invalidated his first lap because he's on his second lap. He is one of the fastest guys over one lap in the tier. He does make a fair amount of race-ending mistakes, though. As he goes really wide, is that going to invalidate? It actually doesn't. He must have lifted off just enough or gone just wide enough to stop the invalidation, which is perfectly fine. As bang average Seb, nope. Oh, went a little bit twitchy, but got away with it, and now he's on the gravel, but he still doesn't invalidate. Lifts a lot there, doesn't downshift. As we've got yellows out for Johnny, it looks like. He's having a nightmare of a qualifying. I think Slimmy broke a little bit too much in the bus stop and then tried to overcompensate and nearly invalidated on the exit there. And he goes P10. I expected a lot better. Johnny, yep, as we see, is invalidated. Almighty and Daniel are on an outlap. Let's see what One-Eye Falcon can do. We saw a Mercedes spinning earlier in the session, and that probably was him. He's had a bit of a... Ooh. I was going to say he's having a bit of a tough season, and that kind of is symbolic of what he's done so far. He needs to be careful not to disqualify himself here as well. Yep, that's fine. So, Roller Ruler, it heads back into the pits. Zab's probably, yep, he's doing the same. Shogun's actually 6/10 up on his time right now, so I'd be surprised if he boxed now, unless he's completely out of fuel, but it looks like he's using all of his ERS here. And being 6/10 up, it makes me wonder if that is that pace or is that track improvement? Is it, are the conditions easing off a little bit? Time will tell if the times on the screen start tumbling down. So he was 6/10 up when we joined in. And he actually finds another 3/10 because he has beaten Roller's time by 1/10.5. Who else have we got? Will's just about to cross, and he's only improved by a single place to go up into 7th. Slimmy's invalidated. Prezemu is about to cross the finish line with a car in front of him as well. So that's One-Eye Falcon, 43 seconds down. Prezemu doesn't improve. Let's join Johnny. He looks like he's on a proper lap right now. Just at finish sector 1. Ooh, he's a bit braver here, taking a lot of curb there. And again. Now we're approaching the corner where he went a bit too wide and went on the gravel. It wasn't perfect, but he's kept it on the track this time. As there's a yellow flag out for Mercedes again. No prizes for who that probably is. Yes, that was a really good. Oh, it was a bit sluggish on the throttle there, but the rest of that corner was pretty tidy. As Johnny stays P10, goes up to P10, I'm not sure. Yeah, he improved. He did improve by like over a second, but he's still got a lot of time to earn there. Let's see. Going sets the fastest lap again, and he's got the fastest lap by half a second now. So he's really loving these 4-lap-old inters that he's got on. So we've got 2 McLarens about to cross the finish line as well. Ooh. Yeah, that is Roller getting nice and out of the way of Hallinan. As Daniel Gonzalez goes 8.8 seconds off the pace, and Fusemu ended up going back in the pits there. As the drivers will be topping up on the last little bit of fuel for their last runs on the fresher sets of inters. So Hallinan is 1/10 better than his previous time, so it'll be good enough for P2, but he needs to have a bit of a mega final sector if he wants to take pole, which probably is not enough in the final sector to find half a second. As Seb goes fastest, 8/10 quicker as well. That's insane. So, does that mean the conditions are improving massively? That's what I want to know, because that is an insane lap, if not. Let's join on board with Roller Ruler. He is just starting his first hot lap on new inters. As there's another yellow flag out. Johnny's having a pretty torrid time. I've seen the yellow flag for an Alpha Tauri twice in the last couple of minutes. It looks like he's gone back in the pits as well now. So, end of Sector 1. How's Roller doing? 1/10 quicker than his previous time. Ooh, that's a lot of braking. Looks like it was needed though. Oh no, that's I wonder if he's got wing damage from that. Right, let's join Zab then. Zab's approaching the end of his first flying lap on these tyres. He's got a gaggle of cars in front of him as well. Who will probably be... Oh, Zab's gone into the pits. Dove is about to... Well, he was 6 seconds slower, so he must have cocked that lap right up. Who else can we join? What's Hallinan up to? He's about to finish his lap. He's got a second to find from somewhere. In the last lap he could only find a 10th, and now he's gone straight back in the pits. What about Roller Ruler? Is he going back in, or is he going to try... They're all going in the pits. Schoen goes back out on a fresh set of inters right now. Which makes me think that it's not going to be dry enough at the end. I mean, it is still raining, so if anyone put dry tyres on, then that's... You can't look at the track. There's not even a sign of a dry line. If anything, it looks worse than the beginning of the session. But the rain has just been quite consistent the whole way through, which is probably why we can still see improvements. 2 minutes 24 left. Everyone who wants to start a lap had better get a move on and get out of the pits, because it's a long lap and it's raining. You can tell Dove uses a pad, because this is the jerkiest lap I've ever seen in my life. really bad exit there. That's going to cost him about half a second. But he does manage to improve by 0.2. So he could have overtaken Roller probably if... well, he's not trying to set another lap, which is a bit strange. There's enough time for it. Right, Schoen's on a lap, and he's approaching the end of it. He's got 0.8. He broke a lot there, so he's clearly not on a fast lap. I think the game's doing that wonderful glitch that it likes to do where they're actually on outlaps, and as we see a Red Bull go ahead of him, he's gone 0.6 quicker, it says, but he hasn't actually changed his time, so I think that's another glitch. These guys aren't actually on outlap. These guys were on outlaps, and now they've started their fast laps. Anyway, let's join Schoen for his real outlap, and Will's just ahead of him, you can see there. So Schoen has to find best part of a second to overtake Seb's time, but Seb's going to be the last out on track, it looks like, setting a fast lap. As we've got somebody, looks like Almighty retired on track. Oh, there he is in the corner on the left. Schoen is really closed the gap to Will ahead of him. Oh, he managed to keep it going the right way, but that's not going to help, as Seb, Hallinan and Roller couldn't finish their outlaps in time. Like I said, they needed to get a move on. They all left it a little bit too late. Same with One-Eyed Falcon. Which gives Schoen quite a good opportunity there, the miscalculation from Seb. Zainu has retired, he's come into the pits as well, so he must not have been on a faster lap. This does look pretty fast from Schoen, as he's really, he was quite a distance behind Will at the start of this lap, and he's closed right in at the end, as he spins right at the last corner. And Will, by contrast, is only 1.3 seconds behind the fastest time, and Schoen could have got pole there, because he definitely closed more than 1.3 seconds on Will ahead of him. So we've only got really Zab and Slimmy coming around the last couple of corners, so let's see if they can do anything. Yep, Zab goes up to P3, which is a great result for him. Winner of the last race. And Slimmy, I think Slimmy had a pole position as well, and for some reason he's on the grass, not paying attention, and he ends up 12. So, Seb is pretty lucky that his mistake at the end of this qualifying session didn't come back to bite him, because Schoen royally cocked up the last corner and just failed to improve. And Schoen was the only driver within a whole second of Seb. And I think this might be Seb's first pole position in this tier, in this game. I'm not sure about the last game, but definitely for this game. He must have been eating his porridge in the races that I missed, because seeing him that high, it must be giving him a nosebleed. So, our championship leader, Hallinan, is in P4, and third place Saeed is only in 10th. So, there is it all to play for, but Hallinan must be pretty happy with that, because none of his closest rivals are ahead of him, and we've got 3 drivers who have impressed in you know, yeah, they have been impressive this season in different parts, but they've also had a lot of mistakes, just like everyone else, starting ahead of Hallinan. So hopefully they keep this consistency and elevate themselves up the standings. So yeah, the sun is out. Quite a long pit lane as well, so the one stopper is really the only viable strategy. But we're gonna have safety cars, aren't we? We always do. Right, let's sort out the spectator menu. Yeah. So, the top 6 are on medium tyres. Well, almost everyone on the whole grid are on medium tyres. Roller Ruler and Saeed and CT are on hards. And One-Eyed Falcon is going to try and make a quick charge through the field onto the softs before they go off. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. So we'll probably see Roller and Saeed kind of fall back a little bit in the first few laps and then start to try and make their way back through the field. That's if it is not a safety car race, as Johnny disqualifies from the session. So let's do position changes because I like to see that at the beginning. So actually, the full track. So, some information about Seb, our pole position driver. So, his results this season. So, he's started off with a P7, then he DNF'd, and then he had a P7, and then he didn't race at all. And then he had another DNF. And then last time out in Mexico, he got a podium, he finished 3rd. So, this is really, these last 2 weeks is like a completely different driver, I guess, because those first 5 races, a best result of P7 is really nothing to write home about. So I don't know what's changed for Seb, but he's definitely found some performance from somewhere. So let's see if we can keep this up in the race. Scone is P6 in the championship, so he could potentially, if he gets a good result here, especially if he wins, enter the championship fight. And Zab rose to 9th in the championship after his win last time out. And he's got 40 points. He's only got, what's that, 3 points less than Scone? Actually, P4 to P9, there's only 5 points difference. So let's see how many people get disqualified because they missed their pit box. Not Seb. Yeah, you saw Scone, he just went a little bit too far forward. Same with Wicked. Anyway. Right, we've got lights out and away we go. A pretty bad start for Seb there. He does have traction control turned off, which is usually the reason why he gets a bad start. As Scone is, he's getting a bit, it's 3 wide into turn 1, and it looks like it's going to continue to be 3 wide all the way down to Eau Rouge, but Seb kind of backs out of it. It's going to be 2 wide, and Seb's going to be battling with Hallinan as well behind. And Scone looks like he's got the lead now, but it is 2 wide between Hallinan and Seb, but they both managed to get away with it, but they're side by side and we're getting terrible camera angles like always. So yeah, Wicked goes into the back of Will there. Hallinan manages to keep the place ahead of Will. There's a lot of jostling for position further back. Daniel Gonzalez has managed to get up into P9, which is a great start for him. As we've got a spinner. We've got 2 spinners. Johnny, who is spinning all over the... Oh, and One-Eyed Falcon's just clattered the wall as well. And Slimmy, I don't know what happened to him in the first turn, but he's miles back, and he's probably just got a warning for going wide there. But anyway, we've got Skoen, who has a very slender lead above Zab and Seb at the moment. So Seb's lost two spots since the start of the race, and Hallinan is struggling to keep up with these three. He needs to find something and stay within 1 second. But our hard shod drivers, Saeed and Roller, are in P8 and P9. Skoen goes a bit wide there. He's probably got a warning for that. Zab is hounding him. Yeah, Zab's got a lot more pace at the moment. I wonder what happened there. That was just such an easy overtake for Zab. And now he's driving away from Skoen as well. He's already built up half a second lead. Now Skoen's going to try and overtake him again with the slipstream, which he does quite easily. Are they going to play the slipstream games for the rest of the race, I wonder? Zab goes a little bit wide there. They can't do it too often though, because there's a big train of cars. First to 6th, they're all still within a second of each other. Saeed already has a 3-second time penalty. It's only lap 2. Zab is hounding Skoen once again. They've all got quite a lot of ERS. They're being really careful with it. As Wicked's just fallen over a second behind Hallinan now. Yep, Zab is probably going to look to get a move done here. Bit of a dangerous part of the track to do an overtake. Backs out of it, but he's going to try a cheeky little dive bomb down at the bus stop. He doesn't, but Seb's looking. The door's left open. And now the exit of this corner is a little bit compromised for Zab. And Hallinan looks to be trying to take advantage as well. But they all kind of back out of it. Seb leaves the door open for Hallinan there. A bit spooked because he was a little bit too close behind, and Hallinan just kind of accepts the invitation and gets quite an easy move done. But the lead is probably likely to change in this on the... I don't know, he's quite far back. But we do have Hallinan and Seb still battling here. Seb does get the place back. And again, he leaves the door open, but... Oh, Hallinan's going to stick it around the outside of that corner to get the inside and take the place again. And these two are battling, which means it's allowing Zab and Skoen to actually get away from them a little bit. And now they've got to take the rest of the lap to really focus and not let that 1 second gap build anymore. So Zab really is harrying Skoen here, and he's actually trying to get a move done. Well, this corner is a very unconventional place to try and get the move done. But he does get it done, and now Hallinan's going to have a little sniff, as Seb's dropped a little bit back from this little pack. Yep, now Hallinan's going to try and out-drag race Skoen, going down the back straight. Oh, and Hallinan spun. Yeah, see, I was saying it's not an easy place to overtake, so that's always likely to happen there. It's a fast corner. There's no safety car, but Hallinan has dropped all the way down to 13th. Which potentially opens the title race wide open, but as we always know with this game, there's probably going to be a safety car comes out that'll save Hallinan, and he'll still end up in the top 5 because mistakes don't really get punished in this game when this safety car comes out so often. But we still have quite a tight pack at the front, so the top 6 remain within a second of each other. It looks like Saeed's trying an overtake on Will right now. Will's not making it easy on him though, and he wins the corner. And Saeed's going to be stuck behind for a little bit longer. No, he doesn't. He gets it. I thought they were in the opposite cars. So is Zab going to be able to build a second on Sko? And he's pretty close to it now. And if he does, this really bodes well for Zab to become the first driver out of the entire grid to get 2 wins this season. We have Seb, not Zeb, Jesus. Really close behind Sko right now. He just doesn't have the same race pace as he did in qualifying by the looks of things. So is he going to have DRS? He does, only just. But he's still over a second behind. As Zab sets the fastest lap right now. Looks like Saeed's overtaken Wicked as well. That's probably teammate orders. Even though Saeed has a 3-second penalty. So, Schoen does close the gap a lot. And he does still have DRS. Somehow. But now they are quite a way behind Saeed as he had to overtake Wicked, which is going to probably cause a bit of a problem for them. Because if they can just stay in Zab's DRS range, they could probably pull away from Saeed for a little bit. Well, they should be able to in theory, because he's on the slower tyre. It's lap 5, but the mediums should definitely still be stronger. Especially in this part of the track. Oh, Schoen goes really wide there. As we've got a yellow flag for Almighty. So let's change this back to tyres. So One Eye Falcon comes into the pits again. I think he's going to get lapped at this rate. It's quite hard to get lapped in Spa as well because it's such a long track. So everyone is teetering on the 1 second mark for whether they can get DRS or not. Looks like Schoen's fallen out of the DRS, but he still gets it. Seb doesn't get it, despite being 0.8 behind him. Saeed also doesn't get it. So if I was Seb, I'd be using a fair amount of ERS here to make sure that Saeed doesn't get the detection, but let's see. This is quite important for Saeed that he starts getting DRS. He didn't get it this time though. Seb also doesn't get it though, so it's kind of a stalemate. As Will looks like he's overtaking Wicked, who again didn't have DRS. So Seb's falling back now quite a lot from Schoen because Schoen had Zab's DRS. So even though he looks like he's a little bit slower because he's managed to keep a hold of Zab, he's getting pulled along by him essentially. And now Seb's got a lot of work to do in this tricky infield technical section of the track to reel the gap in a little bit. We also got Wicked pretty close behind Will and Rollerula there as well on his hard tyres, looking to make a bit more progress up the field. I think he started 7th and he's still 7th after falling down a few places at the beginning of the race. As we've got, looks like Johnny has spun again, unfortunately. He's having an absolute nightmare. So we've got Schoen definitely in DRS range. Seb isn't, but Saeed has pulled himself. Oh, as he got a really crap exit from that corner, losing 6-7 tenths there. which is going to help Seb a lot as he's kind of closing in on Scone, and he might get DRS now. No, he's not using his boost to try and get that advantage. But he's safe for another lap from having to be drawn into a battle with Saeed. As Scone looks like he's trying to think about an overtake. Is he going to do it? Well, the camera angles are terrible once again, but he does back out of it before the corner. So Scone's found a bit of confidence now in these dry, conditions. One thing that is quite difficult for some drivers is once you've done a wet qualifier, you go straight into a dry race without any practice, and you have to be full pelt straight away. You do take corners a little bit cautiously because that's just what you've grown accustomed to after 15 minutes of non-stop intermediate running. And then it takes a few laps to try and, well, to get yourself back up to speed, which maybe is what happened with Scone. And probably a few of these other drivers. And then some of them have been pushing too hard, obviously, because we've got drivers, well, in no man's land on their own because they've spanned so many times and had to pit and change wings and everything. Anyway, Seb once again doesn't get DRS, and Saeed he always manages to get within it when he drives over the detection zone before the bus stop, but then he takes the bus stop terribly, and Seb takes it really well, so it's like he never gets it when he ends up getting to the DRS point past Radion, which is the most important DRS zone, not the one on the pit straight. And now he's got another 3-second time penalty, so that's 6 seconds. So we've got One Eye Falcon actually retires. He's just a little bit further up from Zab, so let's try and see where he retired. We do have a full safety car. We can see the little yellow dot on our mini-map, which is really good news for all these drivers who've made loads of mistakes. Really bad news for the drivers who've had a really good race so far. It's probably good news for Hallinan, who had a spin, and he's been languishing in 10th place ever since, but he's also got a 3-second penalty. So the question is 8 laps enough to pit and try and do the rest of the race on hard tyres? Probably. That's what Johnny and Almighty have done, so I expect when Zab et al. Get to the end of this lap, they will also pit. Zab's done fantastic so far. He's definitely got my vote for driver of the day as it stands. He's controlled the race really well. He's had a car in his DRS the entire time, and he's not really been threatened, so he's been using his corner exiting and the ERS that he does have to his advantage. And is he pitting? Yeah. So, are the hard-tired drivers pitting? So this puts Saeed and Roller Ruler in a really awkward predicament, because the mediums probably aren't going to last until the end of the race, and if they do, then they're going to be completely dead by then. And Wicked is going to be held up here behind Saeed, so he's not going to come out in 7th, I don't think. He's the only driver, really, who's going to be properly held up. Dove came in, but Roller was well out by then. Daniel Gonzalez is probably going to be held up as well, but there's no one close enough behind him, so he's not going to lose any positions. And Wicked actually loses 1 to Slimmy. Apart from that, everyone seems to be... Well, actually, Saeed looks like he's gotten past Seb as well. I wouldn't be too worried about that if I was Seb, because at least you're not going to have a medium-tired car trying to overtake you on the restart. And he's got 6 seconds of penalty, so let him crack on and bother the cars in front. They should really consider just turning safety car off in this league. Because it just ruins the flow, especially for the drivers that don't make any mistakes. And it's great for the drivers that do make mistakes. Absolutely fantastic. And now we might see someone who's been, you know, like, spanned 5 times up to this point, drive competently for the rest of the race and finish in the top, finish on the podium, which, you know, is it deserved if you get a podium that way? Or is it deserved if you drive your ass off for the entire time, make no mistakes, and end up on the podium? It's a bit unfair that it's worth the same number of points to me. Especially with the frequency of safety cars. So we've got safety car on reduced this game, and it doesn't seem to reduce the amount of safety cars that we get. And there should be a very reduced option as a bit of a compromise. Maximum 1 safety car a race. That would be a great option to add into the game, actually. So we're waiting, basically, for Almighty to catch up as CT comes into the pits again. Actually, it doesn't look like he pit the first time. But that does mean that his medium tyres have 1 lap less of stress on them, which is a good thing when you're trying to get them to last, what, 12 laps at this point? 13? At the end of the race? That's over half race distance on a track where it's not very kind on the tyres, let's put it that way. So one thing about these safety car restarts in Spa is it's one of those tracks where it takes a while, because the game's so problematic, for the safety car to go in the pits and for it to let you go. So you might think, oh, it's entered the pits now, I'm gonna absolutely leg it to the end of the lap to try and create a gap, and then you find yourself getting held up because it isn't fully, you know, it doesn't flick the switch. And that, you know, so that can cause a bit of chaos, so hopefully Zab's aware of that. And the bad thing about that is it does encourage you to, like, just crawl to the start-finish line, which always causes mayhem with the cars behind. So the safety car is in this lap. Let's follow Sco and let's see what can be done. Zab hasn't slowed down too much. He's still going around 100 miles an hour. So hopefully that doesn't mean that he's going to get held up when this safety car crawls around the final corner and takes forever to go into the pits. No, it seems to have got off just fine, and everyone seems to be approaching turn 1. Line astern, which is what you love to see, but there's been no overtakes, but we might get some. Seb's got a bit of a dodgy exit there, so we might come under a little bit of pressure from Will. So Eau Rouge with cold tyres on hards as well, goes a little bit wide, probably got a warning for that, but he took it much better than Saeed ahead of him. He's closed in, but no one is ready to make a move yet. Let's follow Saeed a little bit, because he's on the fresh medium tyres, so he should really have an advantage, and he should be start to harry Scowen a little bit here. I mean, he's yeah, he's really close, but he's going to have to be a little bit careful not to punt him by driving that close. This Almighty gets a 3-second penalty. Yeah, he's still all over the back. He's got so much more pace than Scone right now, but in the same point, Zab is pulled a 1.1 second lead in one lap over Scone. So he's having a bit of trouble in that middle sector. Now, what's Said going to do? Is he going to try and move on the bus stop? Oh, he thinks better of it, but you could see the difference in closing speeds on those tyres. So now he's going to try and move around the outside into turn 1. That's never going to work. But it is going to put Scone out of position on the approach to Eau Rouge, and he does manage to get the move done. Scone just couldn't put the put his foot on the throttle enough, but he is going to have slipstream as Seb gets a 3-second penalty. On these hard tyres, it is a bit more difficult. Scone's got the inside line into this turn. Is he going to get the move done? No. Saeed with his tyres keeps the outside, but this all helps Zab, who's now got a 1.5 second lead. Which Saeed's going to have to try pretty hard to start whittling down, because those tyres are going to start going off a lot quicker than the hard tyres. Let's see what's going on a little bit further back. Scone going to come under a little bit of pressure from Seb soon. He's already 8 tenths behind Saeed, so he needs to... what he really wants to do is stay within that 1 second by the start of the next lap to keep the train going, because otherwise it's just going to be mincemeat for Seb, and it doesn't look like it's going that way. He's making small mistakes. Seb might actually get the move done before. Saeed is closing the gap on Zab. He's within a second now. So he might get a move done at the just after Radion. We'll stay with Seb now, who's well, he needs to get the overtakes done because he's got a 3-second penalty, so he needs to start pulling a bit of a gap over cars that he's quicker than, which at the moment definitely he is quicker than Scone. Scone definitely using traction control because he had his ERS switched on on the exit of the corner, which you just can't do normally. So Saeed's a bit too far behind to get a move done this lap. Seb looks like he's too far behind as well. Yeah, I mean, Saeed's moving his car all over the place to try and, I don't know, have a look, but it's just way too far back. I don't know if he's trying to scare Zab, but Zab's not the kind of driver that would be phased by that kind of I don't know what you call it. Scare tactics, maybe? Johnny. Oh, Johnny, what's happened to you, man? You were so good last season when we raced together. You shouldn't be losing to these guys. No offense to these guys, but Johnny's a fast guy. Saeed is within a half a second now, so this is the closest he's been to Zab. This time last lap he was 1.5 seconds behind, so that is the pace difference as Dub gets a 3-second time penalty. And he is setting his fastest lap of the race so far by 3 tenths. But the bad thing for Saeed is not only does he have to pass Zab, which is going to use probably some of his tyre life, he's then got to build a 6-second lead. Unless Zab gets a time penalty. Saeed does set the fastest lap. So let's see. So Zab did get a decent exit to the corner. Saeed's pretty close. How is he going to take Eau Rouge? Because he's in dirty air territory now. Yeah, the move's going to get done this lap. So, now he needs to put his foot down. And Zab just needs to stay with him, essentially. If he can stay in his DRS, that's like checkmate, essentially. And he's got quite a nice little buffer to Skoen as well, who is going to start getting involved in this battle with Seb, who's not really managed to do anything yet. And then a little bit further back is Roller, who, like Saeed, is going to start struggling towards the end of the race. But he's not really getting challenged himself from Slimmy, who's struggling to keep up with him. And Will is on the back of Slimmy as well. And Hallin's only managed to progress from 10th to 9th since the safety car came out, which is a surprise. And he's got a 3-second penalty as well to contend with. So, let's join this little battle for the last podium position. Skoen's managed to actually, oh, Almighty's retired. We're not going to get a safe... Oh, come on. Is this a full safety car? There's no reason for a safety car to come out for that. There's no one about to pass him on track. He was last of the races anyway. So, there's just no... This game. Absolutely no need for a safety car. So this is terrible news for Saeed, because he's got a 6-second penalty. Great news for Zab, because Saeed was just about to start nailing some lap times in. Also quite good news for Roller, because he doesn't have any penalties, and he gets to save some tyre life here. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody comes in, because what Johnny's doing right now and putting on a fresh set of mediums is probably the right choice. Softs won't last... well, maybe they could, actually. Because we're going to have how many laps under the safety car? Quite a few. Because these guys are nowhere near catching the safety car. They're on the complete opposite side of the track. So the question for Saeed is, what is he going to do? Is he going to try and lead from the front on tyres that are going to die? I think it's your only option, really. You just end up at the back with a 6-second penalty. Better being at the front with a 6-second penalty. It's great news for Matt, who's in 12th at the moment. And has no penalties, where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers ahead of him with penalties, so chance of points is still there for him, as Roller does go into the pits. What's he going to do? New mediums? That's my prediction. Actually, everyone behind him pits as well, so this has worked out perfectly for Roller, because he's not going to get overtaken. And it's pretty bad news for Slimmy and Seb, because they've got penalties and they're on 7-lap-old hard tyres. I don't know what's happening with... Is he changing his wing? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on with Roller? Migrating host? Who's being kicked out? Oh no! What's going on? Well, he's out. So he should really... Wicked profit on 7-lap-old soft tyres. What is going on? Saeed is... Everyone's left the session. Alright, what happens now? The session... Unless it's just me. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Have I been kicked out? Maybe it's me. Right, the game did glitch and kick everyone out. So, let me just double check the rules to find out what we do here. Because we did do over half the race. Disconnect? Let me try typing that in. No. Car selection radio, race format, key settings, no. Disconnections. If more than 5 disconnect before 75% distance within a short window of time, it's the admin's discretion whether half points should be awarded for the race or if a different method. Okay, let me just put this in the chat. I mean, definitely saw more than 5 disconnections on here. Dove's saying he's still in. But what it'll show is everyone leaves the lobby. And it'll show for other people like you've left the lobby. So this isn't really what's happening right now, I don't think. Look, so Zab's not in, you can see. Skoen is in. Seb is in. That McLaren isn't. That Aston Martin wasn't. Johnny isn't. Will isn't. Saeed isn't. Matt isn't. Roller isn't. Daniel isn't. So that's 9 disconnections out of 14 drivers. Right. Well, the lobbies, I mean, there's not much point for the rest of the race, but it's probably gonna be half points awarded based on the positions everyone was in when the safety car came out. To be honest, that would be my guess, because what we're gonna see now is Skoen isn't actually in the lobby. Not Skoen, Zab isn't. So as soon as the safety car restarts, Skoen can literally just go right through him. Because it's just AI. Yeah, see, he's just ghosting right through him. So Skoens obviously thinks that he's still racing. We've got Seb behind him, who's probably going to overtake Zab right now. He can just ghost right through him as well. Is Slimmy racing? He is, so he's going to be the next person to move up into the podium positions. So, all these drivers at the back, yeah, they're all disconnected. Excuse me. So, Presumu is the last of the 6 drivers that I've got still in this lobby. Yeah, and Presumu is the last person to overtake Zab, who has, in one lap, being disconnected, dropped all the way down to 7th, because it's just the AI. We've got Hallinan and Wicked having a little battle here. But basically, what happens from the rest from here on out, it doesn't really matter. So don't report anything that happens after lap 14, because I'm not gonna. We're not gonna look at it. It doesn't matter. That was a good little overtake for Hallinan. Imagine if these results counted, it would just give him an even bigger lead in the championship, just because everyone who had a chance of doing well in this race is just bowed out. But there's no chat in the tier 4 discussions, so that makes me think that people like Saeed, like, I think he listens to the stream while he races, but it's showing that he's not in the lobby. So I don't know if he's like in first place on his screen, but let's see what Slimy's up to. He's actually done pretty well after this restart. He was nowhere near Seb, and now he's going to get the move done. Or is he? Oh, Slimmy loves to do that. And now they're 3 wide, and now we have even fewer drivers in the race. What was that? Guys, just don't report it, yeah? And now Slimmy's just gone into the wall. You don't need to do anything. It doesn't even matter anyway. You're even getting overtaken by bloody AI cars. Oh, damn. Well, you know what? That was good to see anyway. So now we've got Wicked approaching Hallinan, who's must have wing damage at this point. Scone's going to cruise to victory, but it's just going to be a bit of an irrelevant one, unfortunately, because it's not going to be his victory. It'll go to Zab, who definitely... I mean, Zab's in 5th, and he's not even connected, so... So Hallinan doesn't have any ERS left, with 2 laps to go, which to me signals that he's about to lose 2 positions. This should be quite easy for Wicked Prophet to get past Hallinan here. So how many? Let's see the penalties. That's not what we need. I'll get that right eventually. So Przemu actually has P2 here. I feel sorry for these guys. They're going to finish the race and think that they've got podiums, and chances are, well, they're definitely not going to. No decision's been made, obviously. That's for the admins, I guess, or the stewards, I suppose, to decide. But it's, 50%. My guess is 50% of the race has been done when this happened, not 75%. So we'll give half points based on when the safety car came out, and we'll have to figure out the time penalties. I know, well, pretty much everyone had these penalties, apart from Seb, who got an extra 3 seconds after this restart. As Hallinan tries to overtake Wicked on this final lap. And Przemu is just chilling behind them, thinking that he's got a podium. Just another example of this game just, I don't know, just has so many problems. So it showed that CT got kicked out, which is when the host migrated, which just then kicked everybody out. But CT hasn't said anything in the chat, so he obviously still thinks he's racing right now. Well, that's the end of the race. My stream says Scone won ahead of Przemu and Hallinan and Wicked. I'd be interested to know if maybe it was just something that happened on my end and everyone else actually had a normal race, but that wouldn't make sense why these guys would keep battling and I'd actually be able to see them. Right, I'm going to end the stream there. It's been a pleasure, but you'll probably have someone else next year, so I will